This is 7:30 Tea with Ree.
So I'm like, oh my god, I'm literally stranded in a flooding canal.
He's like, oh, I hope you don't mind. I invited my friends.
When he pulls up to pick me up, he's in a weird-looking van.
Ree is spilling all the tea. Hello, everybody, and welcome to 7:30 Tea with Ree. How are you guys all doing today? Even though, I'll be honest with you, it's not a technical today. It's not daytime right now. It's very much nighttime. It is actually midnight. It is literally 12:40 a.m. I was about to say p.m. and I was like, wait, girl. Oh my god, you would never believe. I am literally in my bed right now. If the audio sounds weird, it's because I'm actually not using the good quality microphone. I am using the mini microphones because I was like, I want to record this now. I would have recorded this like when I usually record it, which is usually at good timing, but this was a pretty hectic weekend. So I just was like, I'm gonna do it right now at this hour. I had the most longest day it felt like, but I had so much fun today. How are you guys all doing? Because I know for me, what's it? I like got to do a lot of things this week. Like I got to hang out with my friends and stuff like that. I got to go to this engagement party that my boyfriend invited me to. It was one of his friends got engaged, which was pretty sick. And I also went to the coffee shop and stuff like that. And yeah, I got a lot of things done. I was just like, damn, I didn't expect myself to be so productive this week, but all right, like I'll take it. And I also have like an interview coming up for this job that I had applied to. So I'm like, okay, fingers crossed for that. The wild thing is, I have more things coming up this week too. I'm gonna be going to this Yankees game with my boyfriend actually, and I'm gonna be meeting his dad for the first time, which I'm like hyped but nervous about. Cause when you're like, oh my god, I want like the parents to like me, so I'm like nervous, but I think it'll go well. I should be fine. I always just I be bugging out sometimes. You guys know how I am. Now that I'm really thinking about it though, I'm like, have I gone to a Yankees game or not ever? I feel like maybe I have once, but it just feels like it's so long where I'm like, I don't think I've been. But I think I did when I was like maybe all the way back into high school. Other than that, like I don't remember too much of it, so I'm just like, oh my god, I'm going to a Yankees game. I didn't know what to wear either, so like I ordered something off Amazon that looks like a Yankees top or whatever, because the actual ones are so expensive. They're like $60. But my mom was telling me that apparently you can get some at Costco for real cheap sometimes, like $16. So like maybe I might check that out. But more as like a backup. But I did order something off Amazon where it's like this oversized hoodie, and it just says New York on it, but it has the colors of Yankee, where it's like the navy blue and the white and the gray or whatever. So I'm like, okay, like maybe I might be fine. It definitely looks like Yankees, but it just says New York in it, and I'm like, close enough, whatever, right? So I'm just gonna accessorize it well and make it look like super Yankees, and just do with that what I will. But I'm also just hyped too because I've always wanted to go to like games with a boyfriend. So it's just so cool how it's like now I've been to an Islanders game, like the hockey game or whatever with him. And now I'm going to a baseball game. I'm gonna see the Yankees. So I'm like, this is so much fun. Like I really missed being in a relationship. So I'm just like, this is great. And I've also been reconnecting with like my friends, because there's some friends I haven't seen in like a little bit, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is so exciting. Like I get to catch up with you guys. And then I also am going to be hanging out with one of my coworkers for the first time ever, which I'm hyped about that because I feel like I never make it out of the coworker place friendship vibe. Okay, do you know what I mean? Where it's like you're friends at the workplace for like, you could be friends for like months or years, and you just never make it out of the workplace to hang out. You're just like chilling only there. So this is the first time where I've hung out, well, I'm about to hang out with a coworker like outside of the workplace setting. So I'm kind of like, oh my god, it feels like I'm going on a date, but a friend date. So yeah, her and I are literally gonna see this movie tomorrow. We're gonna be seeing Dune Part 2. I have not seen Part 1, so I've gotta look at Part 1 to like, well, one, see if I like it. I think I might. I've heard that it's sci-fi. I don't know like specifically what it's about. Someone kind of broke it down a little bit to me, but it's a little confusing. I just know that Zendaya is in it and Timothy Chalamet's in it, and I love them both. So I'm like, maybe I'll like it. So I'm gonna have to look at part one before I watch part two, so that I'm not too confused. But I'm just like hyped because I haven't been to the movies in forever too. So I'm like, damn, like a lot of exciting things for me. Even though they're like small things, I'm like, this is so cool. And then on top of it, too, I'm going to be visiting my college, too, because I'm going to be doing the grad shoot this upcoming weekend. And so, yeah, I get to do that grad shoot. I basically get to walk all over campus and stuff. And I'll probably be checking out my old stomping grounds, like where my dorm was, and to go to like the school diner and all this stuff. So pretty like, I'm like, okay, exciting things are happening. But yeah, that's basically my personal tea for right now. Speaking of personal tea, today's episode, I have not done a spiritual episode in a minute. So I was like, let me share some spiritual stories of my own. I'm sharing 3 stories, and all of them are really creepy in their own way. And I was like, I'm sure you guys would love to hear these because I don't share them as often as I should, but I will try to share them like here and there because I still want you guys to be aware that this is still also partially a spiritual podcast. So if anybody wants to send in any stories, like you are more than welcome to send in any spiritual stories you have, whether it's like mediumship stories or just like ghosty stories, like literally send in any of those too. So yeah, but before I get into this episode, before I go into all of the stories, in case you are new here, I'm so happy that you're here. And I just want to fill you in on what this podcast is about in case you are new or maybe you just forgot. um, so, this podcast is all about spilling tea and sharing your deepest, darkest secrets. So, if you have any tea to spill, DM me on Instagram at 730tea with Ree, and you spell that 730 TEAWITHRIE, or you can DM me on my main Instagram account at Rihanna Flores, and you spell that RIEANNAFLORES. And if you wish to be anonymous, please let me know. Your story should be up to 500 words or less, and if you want to send an audio voice message in instead of typing out your story, just please keep it up to 5 minutes max. Thank you. All right, so let's get into our first spiritual story of the day. But before I even get into it, I want to fill you guys in on my kind of spirituality in case you are new here. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick little backstory. So, in case you forgot, I am kind of a medium, or maybe I'm like fully a medium and I just like keep it simple because I'm dramatic, whatever. But I don't always like to identify with it just because of the common misconceptions. So I am mostly just like a spiritual reader and healer, and I have clairvoyant abilities through dreams. I also give tarot and sound readings along with sound healings. And the readings are always intense. They usually take a lot of energy out of me sometimes. And I usually start the readings off by playing my singing bowl, which allows me to heal you. So during the healing, I receive messages, feelings, and information on what has happened in your life. It's kind of like a background story on you. And sometimes I receive predictions as well, but I mainly get predictions only when I feel like a relative's present. And I can usually determine the gender of the relative too, which I do have, plenty of stories on that as well. But anyways, after I do the sound healing reading, I usually lead into a tarot reading. with my tarot cards, and those usually help me guide you with my spiritual advice. And they also help give confirmation on all of the information that I receive in the sound healing reading. So yeah, that is my backstory on my spiritual abilities and everything like that. I also forgot to include I am like a Christian, but I'm a spiritual Christian. So it's like I go to a I can't English today. I go to a non-denominational Christian church, but I also practice spiritual things like I said, I mentioned I do sound healing and readings and things like that. So it's like I'm a weird mix. It used to be confusing growing up, but now as I'm older, I'm just like, I think it's okay to have more than one belief, honestly. And if someone is against that, that's your own opinion. I've got my own beliefs and I'm happy with it and I feel good. And you know what? Jesus still loves me. So that's how I feel. But yeah, that is my full backstory. So now we're going to be getting into the actual stories. So the first story that I'm going to tell you guys is about this dream I had when I was 9 years old. One of my earliest lucid dreams. I have been lucid dreaming since I was little. That's like one of my biggest abilities is the dreaming stuff. So that kind of goes hand in hand with the clairvoyance because, see, with clairvoyance, that basically means that you see things. Now, I have not seen anything in the physical world, not yet, other than like maybe shadows, like things like that. That's about it. But there's some people who have the clairvoyant ability that's so strong where you can see full blown figures, apparitions, they're called. I have not seen that yet, other than, like I said, shadows or even pictures. I've taken pictures at a haunted place before and like seen it in pictures. But that's really about it. I haven't seen like a full blown thing in person with my own eyes in this realm. But I will see things in my dreams, things come to me in my dreams, or messages come through to me in my dreams. So, um, when I was 9, I would say my lucid dreaming was the strongest at that point because I feel like when you're younger, you're 10 times more vulnerable to the spiritual realm. And that's just true. Like, even babies sometimes see things. If you see a baby or hear a baby crying, I mean, sometimes you never know. Maybe they could be feeling something that you have no clue about. Maybe you have no clue as to why they're actually crying. Because I, the way I think about it is sometimes with babies, um, I feel like because they're so young and they just came into the world, I don't know if this is going to make sense how I explain it, but because they're freshly in the world, like they were just in that other realm before, so because they're freshly new, like maybe they're still like fresh out of the spiritual realm. Does that make sense? I think it does. Maybe you get what I'm trying to say. But I feel like that's why they're so vulnerable to the spiritual realm because they were just a part of it. They're brand new to this realm, so they still have um like leftover things from being in there. That's just my theory though. It's kind of also too like they also say that children who are autistic have like abilities as well to feel things from the other side. So I wonder if it's something about like a young or innocence type of energy that it makes it easier for you to feel things sometimes. Or maybe it's just genetics, it really just depends. But I am stalling. We're gonna get into this story. I think it's just because it's a creepy story. So, anyways, when I was 9, um, I had this lucid dream and it was very creepy. It was like one of the creepiest dreams I've had. And this one is about how Bloody Mary came to me in a dream. Yeah. So, if you don't know who Bloody Mary is, I will fill you in real quick. So, there's this old tale that if you go into a bathroom and you look in the mirror and you repeat Bloody Mary 3 times on, I think, a Sunday at midnight or something, even, or just like in the dark. If you do that in the dark in front of a mirror, she appears, and then there's like blood everywhere and stuff. Now, I've never done this because absolutely fucking not. Why would I do that? But apparently, that is the legend. So, yeah. And she's supposed to look like Mary? I'm like Mary, the Mother of God. I don't know for sure. But apparently, that's the legend on it, and that it's creepy and that you could die and all the stuff. So, yeah, when I was 9, I had this dream, and in the beginning of the dream, I was walking down this hall in an abandoned hotel. And the hotel was like, it's weird because even though it was abandoned in the dream, the lights were still on and working, like fully, but flickering at the same time. And I was on the top floor and I was walking down this hallway with these flickering lights or whatever, and I was just taking my time walking and looking around. It was a very yellow type of hallway, and the floors were carpeted but gray, grayish black, more like a dark gray. And I began walking more and more, and then I wanted to get out of there. So I started running down the hallway and out this door that led to the rooftop. So I'm on this abandoned rooftop by myself in the dream, and I'm walking around and I'm confused about where to go. I'm looking all around. It's a very wide open space up there and everything. And so I walk more and more and I see this big old shack. And this shack is made out of metal. It's huge, and but it has like this wooden entryway, like this kind of wooden bridge to walk up onto or something. It's weird how it was set up. But I walk over to it, and when I get there, I'm faced with a big mirror. And when I look into the mirror, she's in it, like Bloody Mary's in it, and there's blood trailing all around the mirror. And so I take my hands and I lace them together and kind of form a fist, and I smash the mirror to try and like get her away. And then more blood just like overflows everywhere, and all of the mirror pieces were just shattered everywhere. And it's like I had a little on my hands of like blood, and it was just crazy. And so I woke myself up from the dream. So yeah, I was 9 years old when I had this dream, and I had only heard about Bloody Mary like once or whatever. And like, I don't know if I had the dream because of like what I heard, but either way, for it to be so detailed at that age was just kind of crazy. And I also think too, um, what's it? Around that time period, I used to have my mirror facing my bed, which they say that that's not a good thing to do, actually, because mirrors are kind of like the portal to the other side, is what they say. And I believe in that because my mom actually covers her mirrors to this day. She's always covered her mirrors for like the longest time because that's been a strong belief in the Caribbean. If you guys don't know, I'm Trinidadian. Well, not like from there. I'm born in America, but my parents are from there. And, I was raised with a lot of the Trinidadian traditions too, combined with American traditions. So I have the mix of that. But in Trinidad, they are very superstitious. They have like very strong beliefs in certain things. So that is one of the beliefs that if you cover your mirror, it's safer. And if it's facing your bed, it's like letting that portal go into your bed and your mind and your sleep and stuff like that. So yeah, when I was 9, I used to not cover my mirrors, and my mirror used to face my bed all the time. And I noticed that it made my dreams actually way scarier. Like, because now I cover my mirrors all the time, and I don't really have scary dreams nearly as much anymore, unless I get hot in my sleep or unless I have to pee while I'm asleep. Like, I notice there's like a strong difference. Like, I have become a dream master at this point because I literally hate having nightmares. because the average person, when they have a nightmare, it's like something that doesn't last very long and it's probably not as scary or detailed. For me, when I dream and I have a nightmare, they're very, very detailed, and some of them are very gory, and the paranormal things that could appear are 10 times scarier than what you could see in a movie, honestly. So I don't like it. But yeah, that was the dream. um, yeah. Anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts on that, because that I don't even know what to make of that. That I was 9, like, and I don't know how. But we're gonna get into the second story of the day. So this one's also very creepy. Now this one was actually not a dream. It was like a real time, real world thing, creepy thing that I experienced. So when I was younger, we had this creepy clown doll that was made out of china that my uncle had given to us. I think when I was in like middle school, we had this creepy fucking clown doll. And it was one of those dolls like it was kind of like a skinny, like beautifully made doll. Like it was an antique. Like it was a pretty doll, but it was also creepy looking. And the eyes were so weird too. And they're not supposed to move. I mean, like they can move in the sense of like, you know, when you move a doll up and down, like the eyes will like open and close. So it was like that, but they're not supposed to move on their own if it's like sitting still. So this creepy clown doll also, if you go to the back of it, like if you go to its back, there's a little wind up area where you can wind it up and it plays music, right? So my sister and I used to think this clown doll was so creepy and so scary looking, so we just used to just keep it in our playroom and keep it like away from us, right? And like one day I was in the playroom by myself, and all of a sudden the music on this fucking doll starts playing, and I was like scared shitless, bro. I was scared as fuck. I was like, what the fuck? And I was like trying not to panic. I was like, maybe like I don't know what happened, you know, like maybe it's like anything. I just tried to make up any excuse. I was like, maybe it's the wind. And I'm like, no, fucking window is not even open. And then I look over at the doll, and like both of the eyes were closed in this thing, and one of the eyes just opened, and I was like, nah, I'm fucking out of here. I went to tell my mom immediately, and we got rid of that doll. We threw that doll the fuck away because we were like, nah, I'm not doing that. This doll looks like Chucky. No, thank you. So yeah. Never get a creepy clown doll. Never get an antique looking China made doll. And I mean like fine china. Like this thing was like it's like it was fucking cement or like glass. Like it was like beautifully made, honestly, but not worth keeping because that thing was creepy as fuck. I am very sure that that thing was haunted. It was definitely giving Annabelle vibes. So I was like, no. So yeah, don't get a clown doll at all. No, thank you. Anyways, we're going to be getting into the next creepy story of the day. And it is also going to be the last creepy story of the day. Now, this one, it's like creepy, but not too creepy. It's definitely not as creepy as these last two stories I told you. It's more of just something I experienced where I'm just like, I feel like a lot of people experience this too, and nobody really talks about it. So, do you guys ever have like that deja vu feeling? And like that sounds very generic, right? But there's an actual term for this, and it's called like derealization, or maybe I don't know. Deja vu and derealization have similarities, but there's also a difference. So sometimes people experience deja vu and they're like, "Oh my god, like I've definitely experienced this moment before. Like that's weird, haha." Like, and it happens for like 20 seconds or whatever or less. For me, okay, sometimes I have full blown moments where I feel like I've experienced it before and it will last really long. But then also in that exact same moment, I'm like, it feels like nothing is real. Like nothing in this entire world is real. Like I'm not real. Nobody's real. Nothing is real. This world isn't real. Like nothing is fucking real. Like I start feeling like that. And I had no clue what that was called. I thought I was the only one experiencing it until TikTok made that a thing to question. And now they properly term that derealization. And I was like, wow, that makes sense because I literally, nothing feels real sometimes. Sometimes I'll go through a moment. Like, I remember this one time in high school, I had the longest deja vu moment and nothing felt real. And I felt so creepy and weird and just like out of my body, but at the same time, fully aware of my surroundings. It was super crazy. Because sometimes I'll have dreams where um, I will be fully aware of a certain moment and feel like this is a deja vu moment in the dream. And then maybe a few days later, I'll have that exact same moment that I had in the dream. Like the exact thing I dreamt is the exact same thing happening in real life. And this story, like the time this happened, like I said, was in high school. And this was actually the longest deja vu moment I had because it was lasting about 30 minutes long and it would not stop. Like it just kept going, and I was really scared out of my mind because I'm not home for that either. I'm in school. I'm not in my normal, familiar surroundings either. I'm not in my bedroom. I'm not anywhere. I'm not around my parents. Like, I literally was just freaking the fuck out. And I just kept trying to keep it cool because it's like I said, even though you're having that deja vu moment, you're also still fully aware of like what to do next. So it's just like, why does nothing feel real? But I also am fully understanding everything that's going on around me. So yeah, that was like the creepiest thing I ever experienced. I was just like, why the fuck is nothing feeling real? If you have ever experienced that, like message me and let me know because I want to know what your experience was like for you because I know people do experience this derealization moment where you're just like, I feel crazy. I don't know who to talk to about this. And you know what's creepier about this is that there's no actual cure for it other than just doing things that bring you back to reality. Like they say when you experience that, to either run your hands under hot or cold water to kind of awaken your senses so that it brings you back to reality. It's a weird thing, but I don't it just sucks that it's only that much that you can do. Like I wish you could just like take a pill or something to like feel normal like immediately or like a fucking injection. But yeah, that's my literal like creepy minimal story cuz I feel like it's not crazy creepy, but it definitely is like a freak out moment of like, "Oh my god, why does nothing feel real right now?" Like nothing at all. Not this earth, not this planet, like not nothing, right? So yeah, those are all of the stories for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed all of them. They definitely are a lot to tell when it's like the creepy ones, like that dream. Like I don't tell that dream with the Bloody Mary thing often, honestly, I don't because it still freaks me out to this day. And I only tell it in the daytime, which, by the way, guys, I don't know if you noticed the slight change in audio, but I filmed part of, well, not filmed, recorded, because, you know, film is like different, whatever, you get it. I recorded part of this episode at midnight last night, like exactly how I mentioned in the beginning of the video, but the rest of this, all of the scary stories, I recorded in the daytime. So right now it's like 11 a.m. So I recorded it in the daytime because these stories still freak me out to this day. So I really do hope you appreciated it because, like I said, it takes a lot sometimes for to tell these again. I'm like, oh my god, needs to be the daytime. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that you guys feel encouraged to share any spiritual stories or experiences that you guys have because I'm super open to hearing more, and I love hearing more of them because even though I can get scared, like, I like a good scare. Like, that's the crazy part about it. But anyways, like I said, feel free to share any stories if you'd like. Don't be shy, you know, even if it's just a small story, I genuinely find all of them interesting, and I'm sure a lot of people would too. So, yeah. Anyways, we are going to be clearing up all of this energy that we just let out with our sound healing. So sit back, lie down, relax, shut your eyes, take a deep breath in from your nose and out from your mouth. And I'm going to play. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It always means so much to me when you guys come and listen. And if you were new here and you made it this far, thank you so much for listening the entire time. I give you a lot of credit because some of these were scary and also weird. And like, if you're like a skeptic, like this was probably like, no way. But like, genuinely, I would never lie on here. I never do. I tell everybody the truth. I don't like liars. Mm, unless it's like for a good reason. Like if it's like a white lie where it's like, maybe someone's feeling shitty about themselves and they're like, "Oh, like oh, you look really good today." Even if they don't look great, like at least you made them feel better. Like I like those type of liars. Don't be the bad liar. Okay. Anyways, this is an outro. So, if you're new here and you haven't followed me or subscribed or anything yet, do that right now. And if you've always been here and you haven't do that, what are you doing? Do that absolutely right now. Anyways, I hope you guys have the bestest day ever, and I love you all so much, and goodbye!